5 ways to stay motivated every single day. Let's get right into it. Number 1, be around motivated people. I know it sounds quite simple, but really when you think about it, you got to understand how human beings work. It's all about what in sales we call the Jones theory. For most of you who understand that, people naturally try and keep up with what the tribe's doing. We subconsciously are very tribal creatures. We want to be feeling safe in the tribe that we're in, and the way to do that is to share the same beliefs and values and actions and things like that. We do it all subconsciously. We don't realize that we take on those mannerisms. Have you ever been, around a friend for too long and started using the same slang and vernacular they use? It's because that's what we subconsciously do. We try to fit in. So if you're around people that all they do is smoke weed every day and they do nothing, and they just play video games and they just curse the world at the bad hand that they've been dealt, what kind of impact do you think that's going to have on you? So if you eliminate those people from your lives and you make sure that you're only hanging around with people who are also going somewhere, who are ambitious, who are motivated, you're naturally going to take on those traits that make them feel that way. Now it's very difficult a lot of times. People say, yeah, but how do I just stop being friends with those people? Well, the answer is easy. You don't actually have to stop being friends with those people, right? What you have to do is just be busy. That's all it is. You just got to be busy. Hey, do you want to come smoke some bongs on the weekend? It's like, hey, sorry, no, I've just got a lot of work on at the moment. I can't, but maybe next time. You don't have to actually have those uncomfortable conversations. Eventually, they're going to take the hint, right? So the first one is really, really important. It's make sure you're hanging around motivated people. Number 2, you have to learn how to hijack your RAS. The RAS stands for the Reticular Activating System. It's the same thing that, when you're shopping for a car and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere, or you're looking at getting an outfit and all of a sudden you see everyone wearing it. It's because the human brain naturally has a system that actually filters through relevant information. If you were to be listening to every noise outside and every pattern on the carpet and taking in every single thing that was going on, you'd have sensory overload. Your brain would implode. You'd have a seizure, right? So what your brain actually does, it filters through what it deems relevant and it only takes that in. Just the same as if you see an old movie and you've just learned a new word and all of a sudden you hear that word in the movie. It's because your reticular activating system, your RAS, is doing its job. Now, the secret to it is you can actually hijack that reticular activating system by training your brain to find what's relevant. The way that you find what's relevant is quite simple. All you have to do is do what I call affirmations. You have to make sure every day that you're actually saying your goals to yourself or writing them down, saying the things that you want, the changes that you want to make. For instance, for me, I always struggled with discipline. I've got the worst ADD in the history of ADD. I had horrible discipline. So every single day I say, I am humble, I am disciplined. It helps me work on my ego and simultaneously helps me stay disciplined. The more that you tell your brain things, especially in an identity format where you say, I am, your brain naturally tries to stay congruent with the identity that you create for it. So making sure that you're becoming that person is as simple as just telling yourself that you're that person. So your brain will naturally find opportunities to be motivated and think about the goal and gravitate towards it and relate things toward it as well if you're priming that reticular activating system. Other ways that you can do it, it's a lot of times it's what you're following. What are you following on Instagram right now? Are you following motivational speakers? Are you following things like that? Because if you're seeing motivation, you're going to see more motivation. Your brain will start picking it up more. So making sure that you're not just following, meme pages and sports pages and things like that. Really adding value to the things that you're consuming. That's how you can hijack your reticular activating system. Number 3, write your goals down every day. Why this is important? Number 1, again, we talked about the reticular activating system. It's very important, but 2, it's a focus issue. It reminds you that this is why you're here. This is what you've got to do. Writing your goals down, it's a matter of prioritizing your goals. You're not going to make bad decisions or the decisions that take you away from those goals if every day you're remembering how important they are. The top 3% of successful people in the world write their goals down regularly, and the top 1% write their goals down every single day. You got to make it part of your routine. Make it part of your routine, make it part of your everyday, existence, and be amazed at what happens. Write your goals down, just trust me. And if you've seen the other videos, get a nice pen while you do it so you can be grateful. Every single day I write down, I start with my gratitudes. So I say the things that I'm most grateful for. Then I go through my big picture goal, my middle picture goal, and then I'll go through my daily priorities. And then I'll also do a contingency plan. I'll write down all the things that could go wrong so that I'm prepared for when they do inevitably happen. That's the benefits of owning a business, that things will always find a way to go wrong. Number 4, exercise habits, right? You got to understand the human brain, it's a machine, and the more of the right chemicals that you can pump into it, the better it's going to be fueled. If if I'm driving a race car, I don't want to put 91 octane into it. I want the most premium fuel out there. Just like your brain, you want to fuel it with the right chemicals. If you're stressed out all the time, and if you're not in a physical shape that you need to be, or you're drinking too much, or you're doing too many drugs, you could be potentially taking away the things that make your brain work properly. Dopamine, serotonin. So if you've got a cocaine problem, you're going to find dopamine issues. If you've got a serotonin problem, get off the MDMA. Because if you're robbing yourself of that fuel to be happy and motivated, you're not going to be motivated. It's the same. It's the reason that people with severe depression really struggle to set goals, is because they don't currently feel happy. Their brain is not going to get excited about something because they don't see themselves feeling happy in the future. They don't believe that they can feel happy. So the more that you're flooding your brain with happy chemicals, the more excited about things you're going to get, because you get happy at the prospect of them happening. People, more often than not, are actually more excited in anticipation of something than they are getting the reward. They're more excited about getting the goal than they are about the actual goal itself. So if you're making sure that you're exercising properly to release all the endorphins that you need to, if you're eating healthy, if you're not drinking too much, and if you're staying away from those drugs, you're naturally going to have a better brain chemistry, and it's going to make you more excited for the goals that you're inevitably going to reach. And finally, number 5, you need smaller incremental targets. And this breaks down into 2 issues. Number 1 is a human system called hyperbolic discounting. The idea of hyperbolic discount, I know it's a fancy word, but it's that human beings, evolution is a very slow process. And human beings have evolved over time to like the instant reward. Everything's very give it to me now. Because back then, if you were to kill something, you'd get to eat. If you were to, run away from something, you could survive. If you found berries, great. Or if you got poisoned, it's bad. Everything would happen, now. But as society's evolved and as things have gotten easier and all of those, you really get the idea of how to plant a seed and let it grow. The human brain hasn't quite caught up in its evolution to see that as possible all the time. So what happens is you get almost like an exponential, dropped on a graph of here's my heightened excitement, and you get to about 2 weeks, and that 2 to 3 weeks it starts slanting, and then after that it's just this massive drop off. The human brain, it works in a cyclical manner that it's after that 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to start getting more bored about the goal. You're actually going to lose interest in the goal. So having those smaller incremental targets, the first thing that it's going to do, it's going to take advantage of that hyperbolic discounting. If you set a goal for yourself that works every 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to keep your entertainment of the goal topped up, and you're going to continually make progress. The second part of the idea of having smaller incremental goals is you get to produce what's called positive feedback loops. It's the same as feedback with a microphone. When you hold it to an amplifier, it's the sound of the electrical noise in the microphone goes into the amplifier, which then goes back into the microphone even louder, which goes back into the amplifier even louder, and then goes back in, and that cycle just makes it huge. And obviously that's a negative example, but a positive feedback loop. If you do something, if you take on a new challenge or you learn a new skill and you perform well at it, you get this huge dopamine boost and this huge well done, that your body has just won a slot machine, and all of a sudden you feel great about it. Now, isn't that going to make you more motivated to go again? Of course it will, because you're going to be chasing that high of improving for one, but also it's going to feel more safe and it's going to feel more natural, and you're going to get some momentum. So the smaller that you can make these targets, the more you're actually creating a positive feedback loop, because you achieve something, and the next thing you're more confident and more excited, and then you achieve it and you're even more confident, even more excited. So you're naturally going to get more motivated, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So to recap, number 1, be around the right people. If you are around motivated people, you will be more motivated. Number 2, hijack your reticular activating system. The more that you can flood your brain's filter with your goals and with the things that will help your goals, the more they will notice those things and the more excited you'll get about them. Number 3, Write your goals down every day. Every single day, write your goals down. Make a habit of it. There's a really, really good book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It says if you really want to make a new habit, add it to an existing habit. So if if let's say you brush your teeth and then right after you brush your teeth, you have to write down your goals for the day. But I promise you, writing them down every day will give you the focus and the motivation that you need. Number 4, positive exercise habits. Fill your brain with the fuel that it needs, with that top octane fuel. Keep it topped up on happy chemicals. It will see its ability to get more excited. You'll be more excited at the thought of things and happier at the thought of things, and that will then make them mean more, and you'll be more excited to pursue them. Finally, number 5, set smaller incremental goals. That not only are you going to take advantage of your body's hyperbolic discounting system, but you're also going to create positive feedback loops and give yourself more motivation as you go. If you can do these 5 things, you will be motivated every single day of every single week for the rest of your life. Happy hunting, guys.